I believe the biggest mistake drawing beginners make is to aim too high too quickly, trying to draw things that are simply beyond the ability of a beginner to do well. And therefore, it's not going to be done well. I think the reasons are often simply underestimating the effort that's going to be needed, because a very good drawing can look very easy to do. It really belies the effort and experience that's needed to produce it when you don't have it in front of you to copy. There's also, I think, the thinking that if I do hard things, that will somehow fast track my drawing improvement. Or perhaps I want my own artwork and I feel like this will make a nicer artwork at the end. And so I focus on what I'm going to get rather than on the process I need to get there. Sometimes drawing something that's beyond our ability is just impatience. I'm just wanting to get to the end before I've started. But I think it's often I don't understand that I'm needing to learn how to learn a skill as well as how to learn how to draw. Unless I've just learned a skill recently in another area, I may underestimate what's actually involved in learning anything, and that there are some principles we need to follow to learn any skill. All this leads to the possibility of discouragement, because if we set our sights too high, we can continually do badly and think that we somehow lack the ability when we've just been going about it the wrong way. Or, equally, we can make so many mistakes that we lose the ability to see the things that aren't right. The second point is that it's easiest to draw from a photo if we draw the same size as the photo. I think this is important because most of us draw most of the time, particularly when we're learning to draw, from photos. And photos have problems, they have challenges. There can be too much detail captured in a photo. And generally everything can look very brought up, flat together. But generally it's easier than drawing from life, because a camera has already taken something from 3 dimensions and made it 2 dimensions, which is what our sheet of paper is. So most of us do end up drawing from photos despite the challenges. But if we draw the same size, then everything in terms of scale is 1-to-1. We look at what's in the reference and we draw it the same size, and it is easier to draw the same size because we can see exactly the size, the length, whatever we want, than if we're having to increase everything by 30% or reduce everything by 30% in size because we're drawing it larger or smaller. And because when we start to learn to draw, we don't want to have everything to have to tackle all at once. And so by not having to tackle the skill of increasing size or reducing size at the start, but develop firstly the easier skill of drawing the same size, then we get a stronger foundation to then go and learn how we change the size of what we're drawing. If we set our reference photo up with our drawing paper the way you see in this part of a demo, that makes it easier still. My third tip for beginners is, at the start, draw smaller rather than larger. And by smaller, I mean the actual size of the drawing, regardless of the size of the sheet of paper, that doesn't matter. But the actual size of the inkwork, if it's something between A5 and A6, now that size is something between half copy paper size and a quarter copy paper size. Why? Why is this important? Because it's easier. And when we start, we want to make everything as easy as possible so we can do well as easily as possible. It's easier because we can see the overall drawing more easily. It's easier to judge proportion and scale if we're not having to move our head to see around different parts of our paper rather than just the bit that we're drawing on. Because learning to keep things proportional to other things in our drawing is an important skill, so it's easier if everything's smaller. And equally importantly, it takes less time. There's no point doing a large drawing if there are problems in it. So we simply find our problems faster this way. And it can also reinforce unhelpful habits if we do large drawings with issues. Smaller, less effort, we can maintain concentration more and commitment as well. We don't need to rush because we do need to build up our drawing stamina. That's a skill and ability that we develop over time. My next bit of advice is we should finish our drawings in one sitting. Now, I really am talking about for beginners here. Obviously, it's possible to draw in so large and so complex that it's not practical to do them in one sitting, but that's not something that a beginner should be doing, because we need to learn a good drawing process. We need to learn the habits of a good drawing session, what it feels like, how the drawing progresses, because drawings are about starting a drawing. They're about mapping things out, visualizing things, working out how we're going to put marks on the paper. It's about establishing our drawing. It's about adjusting things as we go. And it's about those final details as well. Not just are there different things we do at different parts of the drawing process, but there's a different rhythm that we develop, a different tempo in our ink on the paper. We start slow, we start to build up rhythm, and then we start to hit our stride and we develop confidence in our mark making. And then we make those final adjustments. And this rhythm, this tempo, is an important part of how our drawings look at the end. And we don't learn to do this. We don't learn what it feels like, and we don't feel the advantages of it and see the results of it if we leave our drawing session and a week later we come back to finish it. This next point for beginners is to realize that we're not copying a photo when we draw from a photo. Our aim is not to copy it. We're using a photo as the starting point for our drawing. I like to understand drawing as the process of translating one visual language, the photo, into another visual language, ink on paper marks. But however way we understand what drawing is, and there's certainly no one way, there is many ways to understand drawing as there are people drawing, but I think the idea of copying is one of the least helpful ways to understand what we're doing, unless our aim is to have a drawing that looks as much like a photo as possible. If that's what we're after, then copying is obviously the way to go about it, but most of us, that's not our aim. And I often see drawings that clearly have copied all the weaknesses of a photo instead of discovering and drawing all the strengths and possibilities of a drawing process. Because copying doesn't teach us the skills of anything but copying. It won't be equipping us to develop our own drawing style because we'll be too linked to copying, trying to reproduce as best we can with our pen what's in the photo. And copying can easily become a crutch, a bad habit crutch, because it's easier to produce a good drawing from copying than from our own original drawing, because we don't have to work out what marks to put where. And that's actually the hard, challenging part of a drawing process, knowing what marks to put, where to put them, how to combine them. We just have to copy someone else's experience or thinking on that. But because copying gives us a better looking drawing more easily, it can be a hard habit to break. This next point flows from the fact that we're not copying the photo. And that's, as much as is possible for us at the beginner stage, try and imagine what our finished drawing is going to look like. You see, because we're not copying the photo, we actually need to find the marks that we're going to put on the paper with our drawing instrument that will create the drawing from the photo that we want to produce. It's not being able to produce the marks that tells us what marks to use. That comes from my creative thinking as to how my drawing's going to look. And while this is quite an advanced thing to do well, and we have to really have a fair bit of experience with mark making, looking at the effects, experimenting with that, and starting to create drawings that do look the way we want them to look. The sooner we start thinking about well, what marks am I going to use before we put the pen on the paper? Then the earlier we're going to start to develop this skill and see the benefits from doing it, because it's this visualization that actually tells us how to use the pen on the paper. And let me just add, all of these clips of my drawing, you're watching at double the actual real-time drawing speed. So if you want to see any of these in the time it actually took me to draw, just slow this video down to half speed for as long as you want, and you can appreciate my actual drawing time. The trouble with things sped up is that they don't show you the time I spent thinking, and also really how fast or slowly I put the marks on the paper. But this next point, and this flows from that last one of visualizing how our drawings look, is then to spend 3 or 4 or 5 minutes with a scrap of paper experimenting with some of those marks on the paper to see if the marks I think I'm going to use for the bricks, for the pavers, for the clouds are going to create the effect in the finished drawing that I hope for. This is crucial for me. I wouldn't think, even in a 15-minute drawing, of starting it without experimenting with the marks I think will create the effect I want and working out if they actually do. And even if they do, I've started to warm up a little bit already. Or perhaps I'll practice the angles of the perspective, or the curve of the dome, or ellipses, or foreshortening of windows along a wall, or maybe there are some architectural sculptures I want to play around with and see what sort of marks will create the effect of them. Whatever seems uncertain about either what to do or my ability to do it, I experiment with that just for a few minutes on a sheet of paper. And if I can't find satisfactory marks, I know I need to leave this subject for a later time. This next point is, it's helpful to realize that at the start of learning to draw, that I'm not just learning to draw, but I'm learning how to learn a skill. And I may or may not have had experience at learning anything new for a long time, maybe a long time since school or study of any type. So all the characteristics, all the strategies and the good habits of learning any skill will apply to learning to draw. Think of learning a foreign language or learning the piano. We start with easy, simple things, and we master these, and then we add with new things. We build new things into our earlier things, and then we, if you like, master to some degree this new package. And then we endlessly repeat that, adding and building new things in. And that short, frequent learning sessions are much more helpful than long, less frequent ones. There's a reason we do piano practice for 15 minutes every day rather than for 2 hours on Saturday. We learn so much more from, say, 9 20-minute drawing sessions than we would learn from 1 3-hour drawing session, because the drawing session from start to finish is one learning cycle, and that's the space within which we learn. This next important point is I need to understand that if I don't actually have a classroom teacher because I'm doing a course and there's a teacher there, then I have to do all the things that a teacher does with my drawing process and progress. And that includes I need to mark my work. I need to look at every drawing. I need to be fair but firm, because I'm going to be the one who will benefit from good feedback and good direction based from that feedback. Is my drawing excellent? Can I move forward in further ways? Or is it good? So I should do a few more things at this level, explore different possibilities. Or is it only fair? Should I repeat this drawing again? Or, well, if I'm honest, have I failed? Have I gone too fast, too quickly? Do I need to go back a little bit? How can I work out how my drawing's gone? Well, are the proportions correct? Are the perspective angles the same as in the reference? I need to check them with a ruler. Do my trees look like trees? If people are in the scene, can they walk through any doors? Are they the right size for each other? Is the scale consistent? How are my textures? How are my edges? Is there a feeling of depth from closest to furthest? All of these things are things we should look at. But another easy way is to simply ask a friend, does this look right? They haven't got to understand why it looks wrong, but if they can at least show you what to them doesn't somehow feel right, that gives you some clues of where to look. Marking our work is so important for moving on in the best way. This next point flows from the last one, and it's to emphasize just how incredibly helpful and useful redrawing a drawing that hasn't worked out well can be. If I can see what's not right in a previous drawing and I redraw it sooner rather than later, then I can benefit straight away from all of the critiquing I've done, from all the things I've seen are not quite right. Because it's easier to build on what I've done and make corrections than to build something totally from scratch. And the drawing I've done previously, even though it's not going to be on the same sheet of paper, is part of my drawing process development. And my next drawing will flow from that, will be built onto that. Now, this next point may sound impossible, but it's don't use an eraser, even if you're learning to draw in pencil. We need to overcome our fear of mistakes to realize that making mistakes is a very natural and essential part of the learning process. We need to understand a line or a mark in the wrong place helps me see where it should be more easily, more accurately. And if we remind ourselves, I'm not producing an artwork, I'm learning a skill, then I'm not worried about a line somehow spoiling the drawing at the end if I leave it in. This really kills perfectionism. It reminds me that I'm not needing to produce a perfect artwork, that I'm learning something, and I'm not at the end point while I'm still learning. And also, if we don't use an eraser, then we learn how to combine marks that aren't quite in the best spot, let's just put it kindly, into our finished drawing so that either we can't see them or we don't notice them. And this, minimizing mistakes, is a really important but not very difficult skill to learn. But we only learn it if we do it. If we erase every mark that's not perfectly positioned, we never learn how to deal with the ones that aren't, either psychologically, and I think that's the more important one, but then also in a practical technique way. I have learned that there are very, very few marks that I maybe regretted when I first made them that you can even notice at the end. And also, erasing stops the tempo, the rhythm of a drawing that we talked about earlier. It's like you can't keep going forward if you keep throwing yourself into reverse gear. And please hit that like button for me. But my final point is to make it as easy as possible to start a session. Sometimes it can just feel intimidating to sit down with a blank sheet of paper. So we want to make it as easy as possible. Have a stack of, 5 or 10 photos that are suitable reference photos for a drawing for where we're up to. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. All of these thoughts in the end are about making it as easy as possible to do well, to see progress, to feel that we're really learning, to get confidence so that we push on, we keep going, we see what we have done rather than feel what we haven't yet done. So I hope it's been helpful for you. All of these drawings are demos. There's a whole video for them in the last month. So have a look at any that particularly take your interest. But in the end, however you're learning, wherever you're up to, whatever you decide to do, make sure you have fun. That's a really important part of drawing for everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.